Todd Baxter, employees of the Montgomery Sheriff's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, employees of the Montgomery District Attorney's Office, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Munch, James Valley Jr. in Pennsylvania Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man in jail 6 times at Monroe County Jail, Rochester, New York, Livingston County Jail, Geneseo, New York. 6 times. 6 times at prosecuting talk court. How am I in jail once when I prosecuting talk court? How's that happen to anybody? Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley, District Attorney's Office. We're citizens in jail when a prosecutor talk court. It happens because of corrupt judges, psychopath prosecutors, and freak cops. That's the answer. What are the names of my prosecutors? This is the Freedom of Information Law here, dated this February 7th, which is a Wednesday. It's going to arrive on February 8th, in the early morning hours after midnight. And if you look at it, you'll refuse those names at the District Attorney's Office. All you have to do is print it out and give it to the administrative person, and that person can send me the information on the Freedom of Information Law. Quad your payroll. Who is it? And you $140,000 public defender, Julie Sianka, and $87,000 assistant public defender, Mark Phillips, know who it is. Do you understand at the District Attorney's Office why you're corrupt if you watch me right now at this 1 minute and 47 seconds? Because you don't. What you freaks and sociopaths and fanatics are doing is presenting me in front of a corrupt judge just to summarily declare me guilty of fictional nonsense and lies concocted by the employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter, who do not know what constitutes a criminal act. Does how you live your life matter? Because my 50th birthday, July 4, 2015, I have a speeding ticket in my place of employment in Albany, New York, dismissed in court. Speeding ticket in my place of employment in Washington, D.C., dismissed in court. I have always known what constitutes crime. Always. Every single criminal charge for me is a lie. That's why the prosecutor is silent every single time. And these freaks and sociopaths, my prosecutor's silence must be disbarred. So, on this February 7th, 2024, who is it? Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester and Patrick Tackle for John Kennedy Jr. What's the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Sandra Doorley. It's the payroll for the District Attorney's Office. The freaking sociopath is right here. Is this Julie Hahn or not Julie Hahn? It's a female. I know what she looks like. You know, at the District Attorney's Office. So, Freedom of Information Law dated this February 7th. It's the 5'2" 3-piece suit boy that Regina Harper said to me, quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. He doesn't know anything. So, Freedom of Information Law documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester and Pennsylvania Court for Paul C. Messer. What is the name of the prosecutor? Attorney Sandra. The freaking sociopath boy is right here. What's this boy's name? He sent me to jail when he didn't utter one word. Because he knows he can rely on this corrupt, nauseating, disgusting $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul C. Messer, just to declare me guilty of whatever it is. So one of you freaks and sociopaths elevated me to the exalted one, Alex Renzi, in New York State Supreme Court, his $210,000 salary, where he's in there with 25% of the vote, a joke. Which I said to him, this is for the fiction and the fantasy land that occupies Michael C. Houlihan's head and his $73,000 salary. Todd Baxter loves corrupt cops like this Michael Houlihan. I'm going to get to him and what he did. I've talked about him repeatedly. He's still employed. Todd Baxter uses the blue wall of silence to protect all these freaks and sociopaths. Who's the freaking sociopath at the District Attorney's Office that has my concocted fiction before him? Who is it? Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Sandra Doorley. The freaking sociopath is right here. Who is it? You know Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan, Liz Buck, Michelle Crowley. You know Julie Sianka and Mark Phillips. Who is it? I understand if I'm out watching. I understand if nobody watches me. But I'm going to write language in a Gmail or an Outlook. I'll probably use Outlook email, some brief language saying disclose the names of prosecutors, because that's what I sent to the United States Department of Justice, Attorney General Merrick Garland. That's what I sent to the United States Attorney for the Western District, Trini Ross. And that's what I just began sending to Governor Kathy Hochul. There's something in the New York State Constitution, I'm sure you attorneys know, called Moreland Act Commission, where the governor of New York can appoint a commission to investigate anything the governor of New York determines needs investigating. You need to be investigated by this exact type of commission for what you're doing as citizens in Monroe County. We concocting crimes for me at the sheriff's office, like Richard J. Sieben and Michael Houlihan, Lee LaRoque, Shannon Meyer, and Andrew Reale, for which it's impossible for the prosecutor, whose name I don't know, to make an argument and exercise the First Amendment right in court. Some type of Moreland Act Commission. It's not a Moreland Act Commission, because I could be incorrect about that, because maybe the limitations of what the governor can do. But you certainly need to be investigated by the state of New York and the Department of Justice, both the Sheriff's Office of Sheriff Todd Baxter and the District Attorney's Office of District Attorney Sandra Doorley, for how you're smashing the civil and constitutional rights of innocent citizens into meaningless pieces. Because if you're doing this to me, you're doing this to other citizens. This freak Shannon Meyer. She is the one that allows the other freaks at the sheriff's office to concoct crimes for me. It's not a crime. This is why I use that word freak, because I think about the language I'm going to use when I look at my notes. Every time I use her name, I say she's a freak. She's the freak that allows the other freaks at the sheriff's office to concoct crimes for me. Hurry up to Mark my hand, Elizabeth Buckley. You drive down Penfield Road, you'll see this parking lot. This 50-year-old Nayron Shaw lives with his 70-year-old mother right here. One day I'm coming back from Gold's Gym, he begins to scream at me like a whack job. I have this vicious confrontation with him. I walk back in my residence. So Shannon Meyer, the sheriff's office, calls me, and I'm telling her for an hour. And I do not know she set me up, going to use civilians to set me up. I'm not going to talk about that now. But she uses civilians to get me to come out of the house when there's real violence in Rochester, New York. So I'm saying, why you call me? People walk this park on all, you know, my exact language to her, to Shannon Meyer, Todd Baxter, is now $83,000 freak, because she got a $16,000. People walk this park lot every day. Why are you calling me? And I had to hold the phone away a couple times. This is the first time in my life where I'm having thoughts about how I hate the police, which I've never had those thoughts before in my life. When I'm talking to her and how she's not listening to me, this freak Shannon Meyer, and I do not yet know how she's going to set me up. This is the first time in my life I've started to have hatred for the police. That is now crystallized and will be with me for the rest of my life. So I have this confrontation with A.R. Shop here. When he sees people walk through his park lot all day long, at Penfield High School students in their athletic apparel, like my neighbor lives across the street, like I asked some friend Adam, all day long. There's 20 people a day begin to walk through his park lot, 7 a.m. until midnight. So I have the confrontation with Sean, I talk to Meyer, and then I'm going back to Gold's Gym that week. And this Elliot Roth works at this business right here. This is called Consumer Insights here. Has this gruesome smile. I'm about to walk by him, and his exact words to me are, "You're going to be arrested." I looked at him. I was in total oblivion. I should not have been. And I went into Gold's Gym, and I thought about what this Elliot Roth said to me. "You're going to be arrested." What is that? And she called Steve Desmond, Brock Tree Lawn Care. It's again why people hate the police. She said, I've said this to Desmond. I've said this to Albert and Lori Broccolo Tree Lawn Care, that their employees being used. Shannon Meyer, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, tell Steve Desmond of Brock Hall Tree and Lawn Care, ride your tractor by his residence right here. If he comes out of the house, get him to come out of the house. If he does, we're going to arrest him. The problem with that, freaks and sociopaths, his district attorney's office, sheriff's office, for me to come out here, stand right here, say nobody owns that land, walk back around, that's not a crime. So I tell this Steve Desmond when he's with this loud tractor, nobody owns that land, walk back on my residence. And I know my right arm is moving. Todd Baxter, do you know why I know my right arm is moving? Do you know what I'm talking about? Sheriff Todd Baxter of Monroe County, because what I'm looking for, and I hope I can find it quickly, is this right here, you bald-headed fucking stooge and degenerate Todd Baxter. So, they take me downtown. I'm locked in a holding cell. I'm there for about 3 hours. I can't reach the urinal. I urinate on myself. And the Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee came to me with this gruesome freak smile on his face. They're all freaks at the Sheriff's Office. Every single one of them. Except for Sean Fennessy. And he says, I want to show you something. And on his phone is the video of me outside. That's how I know my right arm is moving. From this camera. That's why Ellie Ross says to me, you're going to be arrested. He knows his camera's on his building. He knows they're going to use it upon me. It's private technology. Sheriff Todd Baxter using it upon me. Or is it taxpayer dollars? We bought it and fixed it. What's the answer? This photograph has arrived repeatedly at the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., United States Attorney for Western Security, Kareem Ross. Just a cover letter. January 16, 2023, over a year ago. Todd Baxter, Sheriff 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, 14604. This photographs why you're fanatics. This photographs why you're extremists. This photographs why you're alive. This photographs why I know the name is $67,000 disgusting H. Anamaya. This photographs why people hate the police. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Paul C. Metzer, James from my Jr. Penn Town Court, Julie Siaka, Mark Phillips of the Public Defender's Office. This photograph is why people hate the police. I've never had any conversations with Julie Siaka, but you, Mark, and I have talked repeatedly. And Regina Harper, who I don't believe is employed at the Public Defender's Office, sent me the images. This is why I use this word freak about the Sheriff's Office. This is why I use this word sociopaths. Mark and Julie. These freaks and sociopaths at the Sheriff's Office know that they can embarrass and humiliate me when I use this phrase surveillance device, even though I've been on it. And that's what they want to do. Because I'm using this phrase. I sent this to Baxter too, and I'm using this phrase over and over. From the minute I was out of jail the first time, I'm using it over and over, and they want to humiliate me. So what they did is they called Renzi Brown, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, to come to my residence. Because I finished my run one day at a road called Willow Pond Way, which connects to Sanders Farm Drive, and Sanders Farm Drive goes to Penfield Road. So as I stop on Willow Pond Way and I begin to walk down Sanders Farm Drive, there I see the Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle in my driveway with this Lindsey Barron getting out. I turn around and run back down Sanders Farm Drive, back down Willow Pond Way, which goes to Wegmans. Here I am running down Willow Pond Way. Here comes the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I'm running. Lindsey Barron starts to scream at me outside the vehicle. There's real crime in Monroe County, and particularly in the city of Rochester, Miss House. She's screaming at me. I want to talk to you, Chris. I'm running. She's screaming, I want to talk to you, Chris. This is what the Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees doing that day. When Calvin Vickers is conducting his drug business on North Clinton Avenue. When I say there's real crime in Monroe County, I see these freaks now all the time on Park Avenue. It was just a robbery across from where I live. I'm sure you know about that. It really is astonishing. I am the very definition of a city person because I lived in Albany, New York for 5 years. I lived in Washington, D.C. for 5 years. And what I see in this city of Rochester, now that this is my second residence here, is astonishing, especially with the panhandlers who are violent. My exact language to these panhandlers now is get the fuck away from me or fuck you. I'm constantly using the F word with these panhandlers. And when you tell a panhandler in Rochester, New York, 50 times, get the fuck away from me or fuck you, they'll still ask you for money. And these panhandlers are violent. I won't be surprised if that crime that was just committed on Park Avenue is by a panhandler desperate for money. I went to the CVS on Park Avenue. I don't know if I've talked about this. This type of petty crime, as the great James Q. Wilson has talked about in his books on crime and other books. Petty crime leads to larger crimes. So I'm at the CVS in Park Avenue, and they're just terrific over there, and I buy a lot of my gift cards there that I use. And I'm constantly buying things at that CVS. It's like a mini Wegmans. So I really like going over there because of customer service and just how professional they are. So I finished, I'm in aisle 7, and I begin to walk to the register. And then the aisle to my left, I see a man clearly with a bag on the ground. He's putting merchandise in the bag at the CVS. And as I arrive at the cash register, I'm looking at this man put all this merchandise in a bag or 2 bags and then run out of that CVS down Berkeley Street. So I looked at the employee, who was really one of the nicest, most professional, and I didn't say anything. And the employee looked at me, and this is late at night. They close at about 10 o'clock, I think is when they close. I'm looking at this, and this young man, who I think he's late teens or early 20s, I said, I just saw that. And I could be a witness if you want to call the police. And I'm not telling him what to do, and perhaps he's afraid. And his exact words to me were, there's a drug house down there. I said, on Berkeley Street? He says, yes. Do you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, know about this drug house on Berkeley Street or not? I wouldn't be surprised if the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is total oblivion about this drug house on Berkeley Street where I just saw this crime at CVS, and if RPD Chief David Smith is total oblivion about this. It is really absolutely insanely mind-blowing, the freaks I see on Park Avenue. And I moved to Park Avenue because I wanted to get away from the freaks on East Main Street. It really is mind-blowing. They're everywhere. In Albany, the main roads, you should know this, Elizabeth Buckley, are Washington Avenue, Western Avenue, Madison Avenue, Central Avenue. Those are the 4 roads. And I lived on Winthrop Avenue, which connects to Washington Avenue. And I lived on State Street next to the Capitol. Never once in this 10 years in the city of Albany, both employment and residence, was I ever asked for money by Piccadilly. Not one time. When I lived next to the transit center on a sublease on Pleasant Street, there would be 4 times in a 15-minute period I'd be asked for money. Because there'd be 2 panhandles when I leave this Buckingham property residence right there on Pleasant Street. And then 2 more panhandlers up near this Worldwide News asking me for money. 4 times in a 15-minute period in Rochester, New York, I have a panhandler asking me for money, and 0 in 10 years in Albany, Washington, D.C., when I was never asked for money. And Todd Baxter didn't do anything about these violent panhandlers and freaks. Donald and Ronald Brown had to be panhandlers before they killed Armani Allen outside the transit center. I'd like to know if Sheriff Todd Baxter, if he could achieve honesty for 5 seconds, was asked a simple question. Did you know about Donald and Ronald Brown being violent next to the transit center? And were they panhandlers? And do you know, have any information about these 2 twin brothers that committed this murder at the transit center before the murder was committed? I'd like to know if he, in honesty, for 5 seconds, he could say yes. Because people like this exhibit a pattern of behavior before they're violent, which can be stopped by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and the Rochester Police Department. So, Ron Shaw wrote a criminal complaint about it. I'm going to read that. 5 criminal complaints. You'll concoct crimes for me, and then you will ignore real crimes, where I own and have nothing, because of my 80-year-old psychopath landlord, Antonio Spano Fairport, New York, my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley Webster, New York. 2 people decided I was not going to live at my residence of 8 years anymore, and you have not arrested either, when they are crimes, and they are criminals. They have committed crimes. It just does not matter. It's a crime in the state of New York, locked door without a court order. We're just going to blow off the law. The sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. So, when they rush starts to scream at me, that's not a crime. Coming to my residence to demand my dog again. This Nayron Shah is going to the sheriff's office, falsely reporting an incident. Him and his idiot mother calling the sheriff's office to come for my dog. Ridiculous. So, over and over and over, you, Sandra Doorley, have received the Freedom of Information Law, and you're just going to ignore it. Just like you did on this August 25th right here, where I say, documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in Pembroke Court for John P. Menzel Jr. What's the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. Sandra Doorley on August 25th, 2023. I'm telling you to tell the names of my prosecutors. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in Pembroke Court for Paul C. Menzel. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. August 25th, 2023. Sandra Doorley. I'm telling you to tell me the names of my prosecutors. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. August 25th, I'm telling you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, to tell me the names of my prosecutors. This is why she's corrupt. She will never know why she's corrupt. She'll never know why she is sordid. So, sordid is marked by a baseness or grossness, vile, dirty, filthy, wretched, squalid. They're all those things. Dirty, filthy, wretched, squalid, baseness. Freedom of Information Law. And you're going to ignore crimes being committed upon me. I'm not just writing this down. I'm signing my name and swearing these are crimes. You concoct crimes for me, what's impossible to prosecute, talk to court, and then you ignore real crimes. Attached to 4 criminal complaints with this language that Richard J. C. the Miami Sheriff's Office walked in the Public Library in Pembroke, New York, ran Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm at Chichester, causing fall backwards, hit his head on the ceramic tile floor. They are shot in Kumar shot 2033 Pembroke, New York, false reporting an incident of Christopher Chichester, falling 26 Sandra Drive, is walking to a parking lot next to his residence. Antonio Spano failed putting unlocked the front and back doors of his residence, 26 hands from driving Penn, New York without a court order. Laura Riley Webster, New York, transported the person belonging to Christopher Chichester with 26 hands from driving Penn, New York to a storage locker in Webster, New York without a court order. And then I go on there for 3 more graphs telling you those are crimes. When I say I'm not just writing this down, Richard J. Seaton, for which he should be in state prison and for which a train should run down on him. This is a violent felony assault. It has to be by Richard J. Seaton. I'm going to be in jail for telling a man on his track that nobody owns the land, walk back my rents, when in fact that's true. And he slams his arm at the side of my head and violently attacks me. Nothing's going to happen to him. He's still employed. Right here, I'm saying right here that he violently attacked me. I just read that. Why hasn't he been arrested? Why hasn't he been fired? Why hasn't he gone through the same process I've been through? Right here. I'm swearing that he violently attacked me. Todd Baxter loves violence. Todd Baxter loves violent freaks like Richard Seaton. I'm telling you, Nate Rashan, Layla Kumar Shah, false reporting incident. Why have they been arrested? Because you can't identify a crime at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. I'm saying that they false reported an incident. That's my signature right there. It's not a crime to walk through that parking lot. Arrest Penfield. If it is a crime, then arrest Penfield High School students tomorrow because they're going to walk through that parking lot. Sheriff Todd Baxter. What do you think about what I'm saying? $101,000 win today. Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York. This is a criminal complaint right here. This I got from the Legal Aid Society. Is illegal for your landlord to change the lock, shut off utilities, physically moving belongs without a court order for eviction. What's not to understand? He committed this crime. Change the locks. Antonio Spano committed this crime. I just read that criminal complaint. Antonio Spano failed to unlock front and back doors of the residence for 7 years, 26 cents from driving Penfield without a court order. Mind-blowing separation, detachment from the law. You freaks and sociopaths at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. Take everything to a storage locker and everything is gone. My dress greens from 17 Cavalry, 101st Airborne Infantry are gone because my ex-girlfriend Laura Riley. My 1,000+ books are gone because my ex-girlfriend Laura Riley. All my racing jerseys and my racing shoes are gone because my ex-girlfriend Laura Riley. My bed is gone. My couch is gone. Everything is gone because of Laura Riley taking things to the storage locker and Antonio Spano locking me out. It's a crime. Laura Riley, Webster, New York, transported personal belongings of Christopher Chichester for 26 cents from driving Penfield, New York to a storage locker in Webster, New York without a court order. Right here. Arrest her. Mind-blowing, insane detachment from the law. You freaks and sociopaths, the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office right there. This freak cop perjurer, Michael Houlihan. I'll be in jail for telling a man on his tractor nobody owns the land next to my rents when that's true. He lies under oath, this freak cop. How many times do I have to say this too? Public defender Julie Sianka, assistant public defender Mark Phillips, Perry Duckles, Mark Mahan, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley, district attorney's office. Can the police in the United States of America, state of New York, walk onto private property? Because if they're on this private property and they can concoct this for me, are they committing a crime? Sandra Doorley can answer me. Did Sandra Doorley learn about private property rights at Syracuse University Law School? Was she sick the day law was taught at Syracuse University Law School? Freedom of Information Law. Tax criminal complaint, perjury, 73312 Michael C. Land, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. At 73312 Michael C. Land, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, walked onto private property across from the residence, 26 cents from driving Penfield, New York, of Christopher Chichester. That Houlihan ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 on Don Benedetto of the Sheriff's Office. That Chichester ran away from Houlihan and Benedetto, unaware of the identities. That Chichester grabbed a hammer alongside his residence next to his bike used to fix the bike's tire. That as Chichester placed his foot on the first of 3 steps in the back porch, Houlihan grabbed his arm, the hammer, Chichester stands forced upward, and Chichester ran across his back porch through a sliding glass door, and as Chichester never stopped running, it is impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan. This is what I would have said to the grand jury. Michelle Crowley, director of the grand jury, if you would have called me. And I just sent this over and over to the district attorney's office. This was on January 7th. This has arrived 50 times, I think. Information about the grand jury given by District Attorney Sandra Doorley to Todd Christopher Chichester as 1 day monthly near the grand jury's convened. 2, the assigned district attorney's office employees that addressed the grand jury. 3, the witnesses that testified the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, transcript of the grand jury proceeding. Michelle Crowley, you refused to answer this from me for 2+ years now because I believe I had grounds that you could be disbarred. And that foil there has arrived because here's Sandra Doorley's name. Sandra Doorley looks at that foil about that grand jury that you, Michelle Crowley, convened where I'm your ham sandwich. And I'm indicting an innocent man, and Michael Houlihan perjures himself, and it doesn't matter that I'm demanding from her information about this grand jury that I don't know is convened, that's used to obliterate me. How do you pick these grand jurors, Michelle Crowley? I know how you pick them. You want the stupidest people you can manipulate. That's how. So, I'm evicted by Antonio Spano and I had nowhere to go. And I was helped by Felix I. Ortiz of Bronx, New York, at this institution, the Liberty Pole. I'm here because of the destruction of my life by psychopath cops and freaks. I'm here because of the destruction of my life by prosecutors' silence. I'm here because of 3 corrupt judges that don't know the facts and circumstances of any of these concocted criminal charges. They know nothing, which I said to Alex Renzi. My exact words to Alex Renzi about Michael Houlihan in New York State Supreme Court is, you know nothing. I said those 3 words to him. And he doesn't correct me, the exalted one, his $210,000 salary. He doesn't say, yes, I do defend Chichester. He knows nothing. And then when I'm in Livingston County Jail and brought back to the exalted one, he told me 2 things are important, freaks and sociopaths. 1, attempted felony assault doesn't exist. It's either assault or it's not assault. And 2, pay attention now. You're finished and done, and that's not true. Because you're going to concoct some lie from me. The arrest warrant's going to be out there. You either follow me, track me, and stalk me with the handcuffs on me somewhere in Rochester, New York, or you'll send a document to my United States Postal Service address forcing me into court where you don't have to utter one fucking word at that district attorney's office for me to be returned to jail. Christopher, you're in jail for telling a man on his tractor nobody owns the land next to your residence and walk back to your residence. It's not a crime, Christopher. Christopher, you're attacked by a man in the gym and you're charged with arrest for second in the back seat of a sheriff's office vehicle. Who are you harassing when you were attacked in the gym? And Christopher, you ran away from 2 police officers at midnight and you say this took 30 seconds and one of these police officers said you swung a hammer at him. And how do you swing a hammer at anybody when you run away, Christopher? And Christopher, you charged with contempt of court because you corrected a judge in court and you remained in jail because you corrected a judge in court. This is on and on with my mother. My mother was using my full name, which she knows I don't go by. And the few times in my life she uses my full name is in this phone conversation. And this is really one of the worst moments, extended periods of my life for 60 minutes where I have to explain to my 80-year-old mother what Shannon Meyer, Andrew Yalley, Richard Seaman, Don Benedetto, Michael Houlihan, and Lee LaRoque have done to me, which is violate my civil and constitutional rights. Where's my Chromebook, you 40-plus pounds overweight fat girl, Lee LaRoque? 2 people decided to get into my residence, Paul C. Metzler and Lee LaRoque looked at my Chromebook, walked out. Where is it? Do you understand, Lee LaRoque? I don't know if I'm going to be able to copy you on this Outlook email because it has a limited number of recipients. That I'm going to contact you directly, which I have not done yet. And then employees at the Department of Justice, like Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Kristen Clark, will be able to look at this language. Where I'm going to say to you, Lee LaRoque, where's my Chromebook, 1? And 2, what's the probable cause, Paul C. Metzler? And I'm not going to hear anything from these 2. Right? This is a concern you with officers of the court, Julius Yonker, Mark Phillips, Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan, Liz Buck, Michelle Crowley. 2 people decided to get into my residence. They're taking property and confiscating my property, and it has been returned. You can redirect defendants away from this nauseating, disgusting, sickening $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metzler, so she doesn't violate the civil and constitutional rights of innocent citizens. But you love the fact that she's violating the civil and constitutional rights of innocent citizens at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office. So, again, what I don't have because of my landlord, this bracelet says I'm still alive. Right here. I had this made at the public market. I had a bracelet like this made 30 years ago when I lived in Albany. When I first moved there to go to graduate school because I was a graduate student there before I was hired by the majority leader. This is got because of Antonio Spano. Bracelet I had for 30 years. My watches that I bought when I was a United States Senate staffer. I worked for Senator Lippy Snow of Maine and a United States House of Representatives staffer. I worked for Congressman Mark Smith of Texas, who was the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, or God. See this watch? This is a $20 or $30 watch I bought from Walmart. All my watches I bought from the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, I look at, think about my life, are all gone because of Antonio Spano. And I have to make this list of everything that's gone because I'm also going to do things to him civilly. But he has committed crimes. It's a crime for him to lock the door without a court order and you have not arrested him. Everything is gone. And everything is gone, beginning with this freak cop, who I hope burns in hell, that is Shannon. Mind-blowing, insane fanaticism, corruption, hatred, malevolence, extremism of the Shannon Meyer is not mind-blowing to Todd Baxter. When I say to him, which I've said repeatedly and in writing, it's not a crime to tell a man on his tractor, nobody owns the land next to my residence in one ear and out the other for him. It doesn't matter to him. Why he's corrupt. He's been there too long, too. And the reason why he's there is he defeated his 16-year predecessor was a fossil. His age was affecting his ability to do the job. So, who is it? Freaks and sociopaths. This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. Who is it? Prosecuting me in total silence when I say, who is it? Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees right here on his payroll, because I don't have the original. He does not have, Sheriff Todd Baxter does not have the $10,000 and $12,000 employees. I'd like to know if he doesn't have those employees anymore, because I was ridiculing, mocking him for having $10,000 and $12,000 employees, and I demanded to know if these are the children of Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees. What's the state of nepotism at the Sheriff's Office? I'm going to open this up, this payroll to a page here, and I'm going to look at it and see if I recognize anything, and I'm going to talk about what's on this page here. He does not have his $100,000 comps on this page right here, but he's got these bizarre salaries here, like where he pays all these employees here: Michael A. Potenza, George A. Del Vecchio, Daniel Jenkins, Thomas R. Musler, Christopher Sufra, Emmett T. Lawler. All those employees are paid $71,962 and 28 cents. That's really bizarre to have a salary like that. What I've been demanding from him, which I did not write, but I have been writing for 3 years, is how many employees, all those names already paid overtime, time and a half. Does every employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Michael Rabbit, Kathleen Miller, William Tadeo, Scott O'Berty, receive overtime? Do you, Michael Rabbit, Kathleen Miller, Scott O'Berty, and William Tadeo receive overtime? This is why he's corrupt. I don't have to be some member of the media or with some interest group to demand this information from him. Again, when I contact Thomas B. Knapp, we can force his resignation because he's drenched in corruption in general and specifically with his financial practices. How many of his Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees can double their salaries because of time and a half or overtime? And what you're thinking at the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office, now that I'm on here, it's 2 minutes. The whole time, if you watch the whole 32 minutes into this point, is he should be arrested because you freaks and sociopaths know you can just present me in front of the corrupt judge to summarily declare me guilty when I've been an innocent man my whole life. My name is Christopher Chichester. As I hear another siren in Rochester, New York at 11:35 p.m., I live in Rochester, New York, and I have been an innocent man my whole life.